I think when you are born to parents who are farmers, it's an honor, right? And it's very rare.
It starts with the younger generation.
I'm a 4th generation dairy farmer.
Investing in where their food comes from.
I'm going to be the 7th generation to use my family's cattle brand.
And learning how they can leave the earth better than they found it.
Everybody has a stake in agriculture.
So today, we're digging hands first.
It's all connected, right? Everything here is connected. Everything on Earth is connected.
Into the future of farming.
Welcome to this Inside Ag Special. I'm Hunter Funk. Farmers and ranchers deal with their fair share of ups and downs, whether it's cost of operations or the impacts to their bottom line from the market. Maybe the weather hurt their crop outlook. Farming is not an easy career path, and for many ag producers, it's their life. But the rewards far outweigh the risk. Feeding people quality food, contributing to the local economy, and maintaining a culture that is key to Idaho's identity. This path doesn't happen overnight. For most farmers, it's years in the making. And in an effort to get more young people interested in agriculture, programs are inspiring kids to learn about livestock and where their food comes from. Whether it's helping the family farm operations or showing an animal in the fair ring, there's a young generation eager to help carry that legacy. Well, from sweet corn to pumpkins, all of it makes its way to the farm stand at Whistle Farms. But behind those colorful displays is a bigger story. Small farms are fighting to stay in business. We look at how the next generation may be the key to keeping those small farms alive.
At first glance, it looks like any other family farm. Pumpkins turning orange, sweet corn ready for the stand. It's a rhythm of farming that's grown fresh food for more than 100 years. But stay a while, and you'll notice something different. The newest farmhand doesn't just carry pliers, she also carries a phone.
My dad just said that our pickup had what?
It's got the 240 air conditioner. You roll the 2 windows down and go 40.
Morgan Escombe Whistle is now
Farm manager, but we joke around and call it chief farm officer.
She grew up here. A farm kid who once left this dirt behind after her parents encouraged she and her siblings to chase their own dreams.
There was always this idea of go and search what's going to really drive you. There was never any pressure to stay. So me and my sisters ended up all leaving, all going to college elsewhere, all starting careers elsewhere. And we remained involved, but it was at more of a minimal amount compared to what I do now.
She thought going to a big city was where she belonged, as a big brain director or ballroom dancer. But somehow, the farm found her again.
I think when you are born to parents who are farmers, it's an honor, right? And it's very rare. And I started thinking more and more about what a shame it would have been if I would have never come back. And I just felt some deeper calling. And after I did, I think it connects with a lot of my other values and passions. So I just kind of went for it, no plan, and that's about where I'm at now.
And this time, she brought her skills she learned along the way.
He is wearing a custom, just kidding, thrifted plaid button-up and ready-to-wear Wranglers and his Justin boots.
Right after I came out of college, I went into content production and a bunch of other things. It'd always been something that I was doing. And I didn't necessarily think I'm passionate. I don't necessarily think I'm good at it. I just started doing it for my parents because I see that they have a really genuine story, and one that is not always talked about, and one that's being lost, especially in Idaho, especially southwest Idaho.
Thousands now watch the Whistle family work the fields. A farm that once fought quietly to hang on, now publicly shares a story similar to other small farms.
Small to mid-sized farms, they're not going to survive because there's so many economic pressures, political pressures, that everything is stacked up against them. And I was thinking about it last night, is everything is so flavorful right now, and we're in season, we're getting the most flavorful, nutrient-dense food ever. And there could be a time where people don't know that flavor and that food anymore because small to mid-sized family farms are dying.
She came back because she didn't want her family's hard work to disappear. And her posts, they're not just content. They're a lifeline. They bring in more customers. And maybe, just maybe, the reason this century-old farm will see another season.
I've realized that people have these skill sets that are disappearing, and to be able to carry it on is so beautiful. Though I always say, like, be prepared to do it. You know, you're not going to walk in and have everything be perfect and have everything go well. Like, you just have to be, hopefully, if you're going to do it, you're in a position where you can. And luckily, I am in a position where I currently can. And so I'm very grateful for that.
Did you know the city of Meridian used to be a central hub for the dairy industry in Idaho? Coming up on this Inside Ag special, we're going to show you how the heritage hasn't faded. It's just taken on a new form. Plus, a program helping young people get their start in the cattle industry. We hear from a local teen on what it means to bring a heifer home to his family's ranch. You may not see many cows grazing in Meridian city limits these days, but for nearly a century, Meridian Dairy Days has been more than a celebration of milk. Every June, the city pays tribute to the valley's roots. We learned it's an annual event paving the way for the next generation of agricultural leaders.
Talk with Hans Bruin, and he remembers when Meridian was dotted with dairy farms.
When I moved here in 1981, I could think of at least 4 dairies within a mile of me. Of course, none of them are left now, unfortunately.
But those roots still run deep. Meridian Dairy Days started 96 years ago when farmers proudly gathered to prove who had the best cows in town.
The creamery opened up in 1929, and that's when Meridian Dairy Days kind of started, with a celebration of dairymen coming together, showing that my cow's better than your cow.
The creamery now is where you'll find City Hall, and the event has evolved. Now 4-H and FFA students like Meridian High senior Aubrey Workman.
I'm a 4th-generation dairy farmer.
Show dairy cows at Meridian Dairy Days.
What's going through my head is don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up.
And for the Workmans, it's a family tradition.
We usually circle around in a circle like you would in a regular show. So, and my mom usually stands in the middle like the judge. So we try and compete against each other.
Aubrey is the older sister.
Agriculture is very important, and I just found my passion in agriculture, and without it, I just wouldn't be where I am today.
Her younger sister,
I'm just gonna go over the fence.
Sophia, had a successful showing season last year.
When we first got her, she was kind of crazy, and so at Canyon, I guess she just knew what to do, because when we got in the show ring, she was totally chill. So out waiting to go into the showing, she was crazy, but then when we got in there, she was really chill. It was kind of crazy.
And is also the reigning 2024 Meridian Dairy Junior Princess. Raising prize cows isn't easy. It's early mornings, careful grooming, and endless patience.
We're up every day at 5:30 to feed the cows. We come out, work the cows, work the animals, and then we come back out and do it again at night. Yeah, it's definitely not as easy as you think it would be. It's a lot of work.
It's really taught me responsibility, because you have to come out here even when it's hot, and you have to keep working them, and you really can't give up.
Showmanship is the most important.
Sophie, Aubrey, and even their little brother are proof that the dairy legacy will live on in Idaho. And as Meridian Dairy Days comes, Hans says its purpose remains clear: to celebrate agriculture and continue teaching the next generation.
It has a lot to do with your history and your heritage. Even though all that change, is still kind of important to know where we came from and what started this valley.
Meridian Dairy Days usually falls on the 3rd weekend in June, so something you can put in your calendar and maybe look forward to next summer. Dairy Days brings excitement with demolition derbies, hot air balloons, and Idaho's largest parade. Well, it is a common question discussed in the ag industry. How do they get more young farmers and ranchers interested in the industry, especially with the startup costs continuing to be more and more expensive? Earlier this year, we learned about the efforts from the Idaho Cattle Association. They reignited a heifer program, which is a young cow designed to be bred to build a herd. We're going to show you how it's helping students get their start in the industry.
This heifer just got a new home. And for Troy Edwards,
I'm 14.
he's now the rightful owner.
It means a lot to me. It means I can start my own herd and be able to breed beef cattle.
Edwards won the young cow from the Idaho Cattle Association's Heifer of the Year scholarship program. Each applicant takes a 40-question quiz answering questions about the beef industry and completes an essay on why they want to win it.
They are what we're looking for to be the leaders down the road.
Idaho Cattle Association Vice President Arnold Callison says it helps young ranchers get their start in the industry. The program's been around for 30 years, but
it kind of fell by the wayside there previous to COVID and through the COVID era, and we had the opportunity to bring it back.
Callison says it's back and better than before. Breeders like Chase Lanting from Lanting Enterprises.
You can't think of a better way to do this than to get a kid his first heifer to be able to start his own herd.
Jumped at the idea to donate a purebred heifer from their ranch.
It's hard to be able to do that nowadays, so it feels good to be able to help the next generation to get into the cattle industry.
The cost to buy it.
We're talking for a yearling like this one, it's probably going to be with papers, you're around the $3,000 to be able to get her to going.
It isn't easy for young ranchers to front the cost. This program is allowing people, like Edwards, to carry on his family's legacy.
My family has been involved in farming and ranching for many generations. I'm going to be the 7th generation to use my family's cattle brand, and I just thought it would be cool to have my own heifer to start a herd.
What are you going to name her?
I wanted to meet her first and get to know her first.
It's a bond Edwards looks forward to making, and a program the Idaho Cattle Association plans to continue for aspiring producers.
It makes us feel so great to be able to just help out where we can and when we can to get them going. It's an amazing deal.
This can help me start my own herd, and I hope to be able to donate a heifer to a kid someday.
All right, coming up, we're diving into the pages to show how an ag agency is teaching kids about where their food comes from. Plus, a local nonprofit is blooming in the heart of Boise, and it's encouraging young ones to get their hands dirty to learn more about the Earth's ecosystem. Both those stories after the break. Inspiring kids to take an interest in agriculture can take many different forms. The USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service is an agency helping farmers, ranchers, and forest managers protect natural resources. But in today's Inside Ag, we jumped into the pages to learn why they created a book to connect with kids.
In Idaho, agriculture plays a significant role in our lives, and the process of growing plants is a science. Mighty Mini Microbes Tale explains how it all works.
She is a superhero for soil health.
The book shows how microbes eat the carbon that plants put in the ground and gives plants the nutrients needed to grow. It also looks at how microbes fight off pests and diseases, builds pockets to store water, and the importance of cover crops and how it keeps the soil protected from winds and rain. It's part of the agriculture you likely never see, but it's an important part of the process as farmers grow their crops.
Whether it's that tiny little microbe that's doing their best to feed the plant, the bee that is coming in to get its own dinner so that we get our dinners. And without that understanding, people aren't as likely to consider conservation important.
Mindy Rambo says this book is just one piece to their educational outreach to get people to better understand how to foster healthy ecosystems and agriculture. The Natural Resource Conservation Agency meets with students often.
STEM days at school where we actually do some of the soil health tests in front of them, and they can see how it, and they're fascinated by that, and they're interested in learning, why does it do that? What happens?
And those questions get brought home to their families.
And then the adults start thinking about it. and it becomes a part of the conversation.
They educate kids and their families.
It's important for all of us to know where our food comes from and how we get our food, because when you know what goes into it, you value all of the pieces of that process.
Not only that, but the group studies ways to make Idaho agriculture the best it can be, and holds workshops for farmers to learn about those best practices. Rambo says whether you're a farmer, a potato truck driver, or just living next to a farm, each person is impacted by this.
Everybody has a stake in agriculture, and learning about it and learning how we can make Idaho agriculture the best in the country and the best in the world is a wonderful opportunity, and we love the chance to talk about it.
They give out those books at expos, county fairs, you name it. And if teachers ask, they send coloring books and other educational resources to the schools in an effort to keep teaching the kids. A local program is also encouraging kids to get outside and get their hands dirty. Bugs, also known as the Boise Urban Garden School, hosts field trips for schools throughout the year, teaching students the importance of soil health, composting, pollinators, and much more. We got a chance to tag along this spring as Bugs showed a group of middle schoolers the importance of the garden ecosystem.
It's all connected, right? Everything here is connected. Everything on Earth is connected.
We are an environmental and health-based education organization.
Let's look under the other one, see if there's anything under there.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we got a centipede under here.
We quite often have field trips in the springtime. It's beautiful in the garden. Things are starting to pop.
I can smell it.
How many pounds of food do you think we're able to grow here in a typical year?
1,000.
That's a great guess. It's more than 1,000.
We have a pollinator garden. We also have honeybees here that we keep, so they're going to learn all about how integral honeybees and pollinators are to the garden and to our production and food production.
The female bees are known as the worker bees. They're the ones that have stingers and they go out to pollinate, right?
And then another group is going to learn all about composting and decomposers.
You can see that it has largely just completely broken down. It looks like a lot of leaf matter and stuff. And you know what? This actually isn't even a completely finished compost pile.
So worms are also in the soil. They're kind of making air. So can you guys give me a little worm dance?
We're also doing one group that's going to learn a little bit more about regenerative agriculture and soil health, and going to tour the whole entire garden and see how it all goes together.
So see what you can taste in this.
Well, it tastes like carrot. It tastes like a salad with nothing on it.
I think it's really important for them to get outside, be in the fresh air, get their hands a little bit dirty, and to be able to see where healthy, natural, whole food comes from and how it's grown. And then the plant health translates into our health when we eat it, so how everything is connected.
My favorite part about visiting Bugs was trying the plants and learning about decomposers and composting.
I like tasting all the different plants, and I also like learning about the honeybees and how they live.
I love seeing the kids really gravitate towards eating and trying and being curious and inquisitive with the topics that we're presenting.
You know, you can come back any time of the year. You can come back to Bugs and visit the garden and see how it grows.
Bugs celebrated the 21st birthday this year. If you're interested in any classes or setting up a field trip for your school, be sure to check out this story at ktvb.com. Coming up, fair season. You might think about rides and corn dogs, but programs inspiring kids to get back into ag are the backbone of the annual celebrations. After the break, we're going to take a look back at a local fair where kids show off their animals for a big reward. As we head into the colder months of the year, it's always nice to look back on summer when fairgrounds throughout Idaho just come alive. Livestock lines, the barns, and the kids who have prepared all year for the show ring. They put their best boots forward. Photojournalist Brandon Schertler caught up with participants in this year's Caney County Fair.
15, now 16, and 16, 16, now 17.
Today I am showing my 2025 market lamb. This is Stu. He weighs 127 pounds. I've had him since April. He's been an awesome lamb this year. I really enjoy watching the community come together and be able to see what these kids have been doing all year.
My steer weighs 15 pounds, and his average daily gain is 4.2 pounds a day. Then we raced him to be like this.
And now 12.
You get to network yourself really well. There is a nice paycheck that comes out of it, but also just spending time with those peers that do get to help you along the way and seeing all my efforts come together into one big piece.
Do you have a story about an issue facing Idaho farmers or a local student making a difference in the ag community? Coming up on this Inside Ag special, we're going to tell you how to reach out so you can have your story told. Today we covered the future of farming and how younger generations are key to carrying on Idaho's agricultural legacy. You can find more of our stories at ktvb.com. Do you have a story that you want out there? Send us your story idea at insideag@ktvb.com, or you can text us at 208-321-5614. Thanks for watching this Inside Ag special. We'll see you later.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVB Plus app everywhere you stream.